Live on both. Yeah. Ice Scrappers, Tom from the Ice Scrap app. Welcome to 2018. Today is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2018. I'm sure I'll make that mistake right in 2017 and saying 2017 multiple times. So far, in the 2 days that we've been open since the new year, I've done it approximately 12 times. So hopefully we'll get that corrected by next week. But we welcome you to 2018. We hope that everyone had a safe, healthy, and happy new year. We hope that many of you enjoyed the holidays with your families, whatever it is that you celebrate. We wish you a Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Happy New Year, happy days off from work, whatever it is that works for you. We're happy that you were able to enjoy it. We hope that you guys had a really nice and enjoyable time. Over the last week, even though we spoke on Thursday, we haven't seen too much of a change, but you have to look at a couple of determining factors. So at the end of the year, where trading is generally going to go down Thursday and Friday, the last couple of days of 2017, and then you saw, the introduction to 2018, markets being closed on Monday across the world, and then Tuesday and now into Wednesday, we're starting to see the markets go back up and running. So we've seen a bunch of little things. We just want to touch base on a couple of things that we've talked about and gone over the last few weeks. A couple of quick notes. Don't forget, you can always ask questions. You can always report prices online. Make sure you have the updated prices that you're getting for people. See what prices that other people are getting. Know that we're continuing to work on adding more features to the iScrap app. We have our national price page up when you go to the app. Online, we'll make sure we have a link to it. We have all of our blogs, videos. This way you can learn more about scrap metal. So those of you that are new to the scrap metal business, or hobby or collectionist, or whatever it is that you call yourself, we hope that you're learning from us, and anything we can do to help, let us know.
We had a quick shout out from Carl. He just wants to say hi from Massachusetts.
What's up from Massachusetts? Good luck with that snow tomorrow, Carl. So we'll play. Let's talk about the snow. Unfortunately, many parts of the Northeast, and hell, I even read an article a little while ago about Tallahassee, Florida having snow. But with these cold weathers, with the cold weather, snow throughout the first 3 months of every single year, it creates a lot of bad things and it creates a lot of good things. So I'll talk briefly about that. When the markets are in a little bit of limbo, when the weather affects things, it's going to affect transportation, trucking, processing, overseas export, imports, whatever it may be, right? And when those things happen, there's always domino effects. Maybe the prices will go up in February because so much snow covered so much scrap in January in different scrap yards and different job sites that it's hard to really move material out. When that happens, well, you might see a price jump in February. Then, let's say the weather clears up a little bit, people start to unearth their scrap, they sell it again, you might see these prices dip down in March. Now, this may not happen at all if it was a moderate winter, but depending on where you are and how bad winters are, not only in the Northeast, but also in the Northwest, Canada, all different parts of North America and throughout the world, those weather changes will affect how the price reacts. So just a little food for thought to keep in mind when you're going on. B?
We have a couple questions. One is about what is the market for batteries, and the other is from Sean. What's the price for 6060 bronze?
Cool. Thank you for the questions. Battery prices we've seen for car batteries, lead car batteries, 32 to 37 cents per pound over the last week. Nothing really over that 37. We did see a few dipping below in the high to mid 20s cents per pound range. Brass price, that for the 6040, you should be looking right around. We saw prices for, it's commonly known as yellow brass or just normal brass. We saw prices listed anywhere from 120 up to 167 per pound over the last week. V?
And one more question. What is the average price for shred?
Shredded steel right now, depending on where you are, thank you for the questions, we saw prices reported anywhere as low as $117 a ton and as high as $176 per ton over the last week.
And a quick hello from Blake in Northern Ontario.
Blake from Northern Ontario! Hello! So, Going back to the general markets, copper's dipped down a few cents per pound since we saw the 3-year highs hitting last week. That's not really surprising nor concerning. Seeing prices drop down 3, 4, 5 cents is really nothing to worry about. These are normal market movements. Contracts being sold first week of the new year. These are normal things. If we saw a 30-cent drop, 30-cent increase, those would be little red flags. You would think that price increases going up that quickly would be good, and we've spoken about this in the past. Large price increases are not necessarily always a good thing. I spoke in the weekly detailed report that you'll see in a little while. We'll link at the end of this. And I tried, I'm not sure I was successful, but I tried comparing scrap metal to orange juice. Okay, so my comparison is this. Imagine Florida continues to grow their oranges, and over the last 3 months, there were little to no interruptions in the orange market, okay? So the orange juice that you and I go to the store and buy is $3 per whatever carton, half gallon, whatever size it is you're doing, and it's been $3 for the last 3 months. What happens if a deadly frost hits Florida and kills half of the orange trees? Do you think that the price for that existing orange juice that's already on the shelves is going to go from $3 to $4.50? Yeah, sure, maybe in 1 or 2 smaller convenience stores they'll try to take advantage of you, but that's called price gouging. And that's happened in multiple instances in the hurricane-stricken areas over the summer with the gasoline prices, where gas stations that already had gas in their pumps jacked the prices up $1, $2, $3 per gallon. And that's kind of what could happen, if the orange juice market hits. So you want to talk about copper, and you look at the copper prices and you say, okay, if a big market increase happened, would the copper prices at your scrapyard immediately change? Would they still go up 30 or 50%? Or if the market dropped 30 or 50%, would they go down 30 or 50%? Whatever that weird number is, we'll call it 50% for sake of argument. The answer is yes, no, and maybe. It all depends on who you are, where you are, and what your scrapyard is doing and how quickly they respond to things. As a scrapyard owner, I look at the prices 7 to 10 times per day. This way, if there's ever large market fluctuations, while I may not change the prices at my scale, I know enough to know what's going on so I can see how it could affect me tomorrow or the day after. Most of the time, as a scrapyard owner, the material I have on the floor, the material I know that we're picking up, we already have sold, so it makes it so we can take those prices and push them forward. Or with other places, when the market has such a dire increase, or a dire decrease, or a really fast increase, you just don't know what's going to happen. And you have to be aware. And that's where iScrap has been so useful. So many people being able to see where the market prices are, having these weekly reports, us talking about things, giving you a little bit of our knowledge, our information. Question? Interrupt me.
Someone just asked where your yard is at. I mean, that could be helpful for just giving people prices.
Sure. We're in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, called Rockaway Recycling. And we tend to be a little more fortunate with our location because we're near port cities. We're in an older part of the country where there's more people, more buildings. So we have a little more access to moving material quicker than other places do. I have friends that own yards out in Washington State, and last year they had their yard shut down for about a month during the winter because there was so much snow they physically couldn't move inside the yard. They were more focused on moving out snow, and then the places that they were moving the snow to got full of snow, so they didn't know where to move this stuff. So we tend to have a little more wiggle room on where we're moving material. V?
Blake, that is he's up in northern Ontario.
Blake!
He asked, would most scrap buyers buy metals processed into ingots like aluminum, copper, or others? Would they need to test results?
Most scrap yards, if you made ingots or you brought them ingots, are going to be very, very leery. We've had customers that have taken their copper, made their own furnaces, kilns, whatever you want to say, and they've melted stuff down and they say, we have pure copper. We have pure aluminum. People have done it with cans, with stripped copper wire, copper pipe, whatever it is, right? Anytime people bring that stuff to us, we almost never buy it for whatever they say it's pure of. Because how the hell do we know what your process is? And now once we have it, how are we going to sell this stuff? So selling stuff to scrapyards that you kind of do it yourself or do it at home making ingots, not always the best idea. Fun? Sure. Interesting? Sure. Safe? Probably not. But you know, doing some of these things and selling to scrapyard owners, they're going to have a lot of apprehension. You know, think about this: you have a little copper bar that you make. It's 6 inches long, 2-3 inches tall and across.
Maybe use that one as an example. Oh, just for size purposes.
So this is a 10-pound bar of copper. It's actually very hard to hold up because it is 10 pounds. I got to start hitting the gym a little more. So this 10-pound bar, while it looks like it's solid, what if someone made this? And what if inside of this bar they put a piece of steel? And of course, if you're making your own ingots, you're not going to have it, stamped 10 pounds. This was made as a promotional item, and we got it in scrap, and it was just so cool we had to keep it. But this is 10 pounds, and this is something that's made that is really copper. But you look at it and you say, how hard would it be for people to stick something inside of it? The answer is not that hard if you're making stuff at home. So once scrapyard owners have a problem with something like this, they are going to think that everyone is going to be doing the same thing every time they see that material. So when those weird items come in, it's always red flags for us. Maybe you're not doing anything wrong, but people in the past have historically done things wrong, and that'll lead to problems. So there's a couple of answers. One question that we got the other day that I wanted to go over was the difference in tons. So generally, most people talk about tons as a ton is 2,000 pounds. Yes, that's completely true. In the scrap world, most scrap yards go by gross ton, which is 2,240 pounds. So when they say that they're buying steel for $100 per ton, they're not talking about $100 for every 2,000 pounds. They're talking about $100 for every 2,240 pounds. Now ask me why that is. I don't know. It's really simple. I don't know. I've researched this. I talked to people. I said, why do people change? Why do we have different tons for different reasons? And if you know the answer, please email us at info@iscrapapp.com, because I sure as shit don't know. And I'd love to know the answer. We've had a couple of people tell us their ideas, but there's always a reason for something. Virginia?
We just had Chris comment. He says that his yard uses metric ton.
Okay, metric ton.
We're assuming that
2,240 pounds, metric ton. There's different names for it. We'll give you a blog on different ways that people weigh stuff. We know a few scrap yards that are like specialty scrap buyers, where they're buying really high-priced alloys like carbide and tungsten and Monel and tantalum. And they don't even go by the pound. Sometimes they go by the ounce. Because, there's weird metals, right? So, let's take tantalum, for instance. Nothing that anyone's going to find day to day. But the people who have tantalum and know that it's worth, let's go with a $50 per pound number. Now everyone's going, where do I find tantalum? I don't know. I'm just telling you numbers, right? So let's say it's, I'm buying 10 pounds of tantalum from you at $50 per pound. Well, what if it's only 9 pounds, 10 ounces, and it rounds up? Now you're just taking $50 per pound, dividing it by 16 ounces. So you're looking at $3 per ounce. So if you have something that's 9 pounds and 10 ounces, you're taking 6 ounces at $3 per ounce, and you should be paying, $482, not $500. And that's a big difference. You're talking about 2 or 3%. So that's why there's different metals and different weights and different payments for different things. Same thing with gold. Look at gold. Today's price, just to skip ahead, $1,313 per ounce when I checked earlier. No one's going to buy gold at a per pound. You're going to take 13, and you're going to say, oh, I'm going to pay, $12,000 for a pound of gold or whatever. The number ends up, 16 times 13, what's that? 96, $13,000, $14,000 per pound? I don't think so. So these guys that are buying gold, these pawn shops or gold buyers, whatever it is, they're going to buy it not even per ounce. They're going to go to a gram scale because you're breaking things down. It's always just talking about the level of price that you're looking at and you're going over. So it can be applied to any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can look at gas and say, what if you're buying gas every 2,000 gallons, and a 2,000 gallon tanker shows up, but they only have 1,997 gallons inside, you're looking at less than 0.5%. There's not going to be a big change. But anyway, I digress. Steel prices, we've seen a rise over the last week, about $7 per ton. So the steel prices are up on average across the U.S. and Canada. Positive sign. We see more positive signs coming in 2018. Hopefully we'll see these markets really strengthen going into the second quarter of this year. I believe that they're very strong right now, but I believe that we need 3 solid months to see how the markets are going to react, how the stock markets are going to react, how the new tax laws are going to start to increase different people's spending, different companies' spending habits. I think there's a lot of wait and sees that we're really going to have to wait and see. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months. Question?
I have something that came up during the last week or so.
Okay.
Someone was reading our weekly report and said that a lot of what we were talking about was speculation. What kind of confidence or maybe resources you could share that we are getting proper information and not just spitballing some stuff?
So let's go over a couple of things. First and foremost, I am not smart enough to come up with all this shit on my own. Let's just call a spade a spade. I don't consider myself a genius. I don't consider myself a market economist. I don't consider myself a forecaster. I consider myself a realist that reads articles, talks to people, buys scrap and sells scrap every single day. So whenever we do these videos, my confidence level is like a 7 out of 10 because things happen the next day that I can't predict because I don't have a crystal ball. I'm a guy in New Jersey that buys scrap, created the iScrap app to help different people learn about scrap, find scrap yards in their area, and at the end of the day, I am not a market forecaster. What I do is take in information, process it, ask for other people's ideas and opinions, and then I regurgitate as much as I can every Wednesday or Thursday and try to tell you, the scrapper, what I think is going on, what I think is going to go on, going off of 10 plus years of running a scrapyard, 30 years of being around the scrapyard, reading history, talking to experts. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. Sometimes I make these forecasts and I'm wrong one way or another. Listen, if I knew the answer to this shit, I wouldn't be doing these videos every week. I'd be on my island, retired already. Well, maybe I'd be doing the videos. I do enjoy doing them. But I'd be doing them with palm trees behind me and a cerveza in my hand. So, we tend to give advice. And my father-in-law uses a phrase. He goes, I'll give you my advice, but I don't own it. So if you take my advice, my ideas, my thoughts, and you say, well, Tom at iScrap said so, that's a you problem. I try to tell you things that I do and live by every single day, buying and selling scrap. I try not to give bad advice. I try to give advice that's going to help people make money, but I'm a realist. I know that reality changes. I know that things go left, right, center, who the hell knows sometimes. But it's an awesome question. We hope that you guys always pull something out of these. Sometimes, like conversations like this, are a hell of a lot more in depth, and then other times we're just kind of briefing you because nothing crazy's happened over the last week, and maybe people aren't looking at Facebook or Instagram, or they're not looking at the videos. They're just kind of going on because they were busy that week. But reality says that things constantly change. We try to keep as good and as clear a picture on the scrap markets as we can, knowing that they're ever changing. One more question?
One more question. Copper and aluminum transformer prices.
Copper and aluminum transformers. Aluminum ones are really shitty, anywhere from 6 to 12 cents per pound. You got to figure that an aluminum transformer is only going to be about 7 to 12% aluminum. You have a large core of steel in there. You got to make sure you separate them. Copper transformers, 13 to 25 cents a pound. And believe it or not, there are copper aluminum transformers that have the outside cases of copper, the interior cores of aluminum, and also vice versa, depending on what the applications were used for. We always suggest taking a file, filing down both the outside and the inside of the copper or aluminum windings. You know, red equals copper, white equals aluminum, and you kind of go from there. Guys, this is Tom from the iScrap app. Today's Wednesday, January 3rd, 2018. We hope that we were able to give you a little more information on scrap. But until next week, I'll scrap you later.